What do you know is true without evidence? What are you certain of, right down to your bones, without proof? Hey yo, it's Ask Rick channel. Back when I was 10, there was a competition for school kids to write a treatment for an episode of Doctor Who, with the best one being developed into a full episode in the next series and the winner receiving a writing credit. I was a huge fan of DW at the time, and the competition was actually run through schools. So my teacher made the entire class do it, but I was very excited. I began writing a story about the Doctor landing on a planet full of defective Cybermen, whose programming had gone awry and had been left on this asylum planet to rot. The Doctor lands there in response to a mysterious distress call from a woman and attempts to find and save her while avoiding the dangerous dysfunctional Cybermen and the looming threat of planetary destruction at the hands of the normal Cybermen. I finished my short treatment and gave it to my teacher to submit. Unfortunately, it turned out the competition was very strict about the formatting of submissions, and mine was returned because I had used the wrong formatting in some way. It seemed like a weird reason. I was a bit disappointed, and that was the end of that. But then, a year or two later, there was an episode of DW called Asylum of the Daleks, which seemed incredibly similar to my story except with Daleks. So incredibly, eerily similar in fact, that to this day I am absolutely convinced that Stephen Moffat saw my script and came up with a formatting excuse so that he could remove me from the competition, steal my story, change the bad guys, and claim it as his own. I have zero evidence. I don't even still have the treatment I wrote, or any letter from the BBC about my submission. And yet I know in my bones that Stephen Moffat stole his script from 10-year-old me. Biscuit did a tour where they were looking for a new guitar player. After you waited in line, you signed something saying whatever you played could be used by the band. They toured across the US, having people play their best original, took what they wanted for future use, and never got a new guitar player. The Truman Show was made to make me think the entire world watching my every move was a ridiculous notion, but I know better. I remember watching the episode where you watched that movie, that my cousin stole my holographic first edition Charizard Pokémon card back in the early 2000s. My brother deleted my game save on purpose. He was old enough to read. He knew what he was doing. For every sock that goes missing, a Tupperware lid appears. Edit. Thank you all for updates. That my last boss secretly hated me even though we had, on the surface, a very positive relationship. My boss acted like we were friendly and encouraged me to be open with her. And then I got fired out of nowhere. So, that was obviously an act. Edit. I get it, y'all. Huge mistake on my part to trust this person. Lesson duly learned. My ex-boss used COVID as an excuse to make me redundant because I was the only member of his team to be hired by someone else and not him. That guy forever. Casey Anthony killed her daughter and her parents know it too. Edit. Thanks for the 2 rewards, everyone. I've never gotten them before now. There's a travel agency that's been around in my town for as long as I can remember. I wholeheartedly believe it's a front for the mob. You better keep quiet or you'll be taking an unexpected trip. That a lot more famous actors than we realize are secretly the children of other famous actors from the previous generation. I call it the Hollywood theory. A startling number of famous actors and musicians had rich or famous parents already connected in the industry. It seems the outsider making it big is more and more rare. Billy Ray Miley Cyrus, Steve Liv Tyler, Martin Charlie Sheen, Donald Kiefer Sarah Sutherland, Paul Stella McCartney, Blythe Dana Gwyneth Paltrow, Kyle Lilly and Alfie Allen, Minnie Riepert and Maya Rudolph. And that's just celebrities. Wait until you see political family ties. Ditto for music. It's made me believe that the relative lack of a social safety net in the US keeps a huge number of people from rising upward, just because they don't have parents that can finance their dreams or at least keep them from ending up borderline homeless if it doesn't work out. Yes, when Billie Eilish, whom I knew nothing about, was suddenly everywhere overnight, I knew something was up. She is talented. There is nitrogen monoxide publicity machine that works in unison like that unless there is someone pulling a lever. And yep, her family is in the music business, turns out. Taylor Swift is another rich kid. I'd say Bieber is probably a little more self-made in that he blew up on YouTube first and then had a famous guy pick him up, lol. It always boils down to famous people helping others becoming famous. If I'm stuck in traffic and switch lanes because the other lane looks like it will move faster, the lane I just switched from will automatically go faster. However, if you don't switch lanes, your lane will still go slow, so go ahead and switch lanes. Even though it doesn't change your commute time, it speeds it up for the rest of us. Not that it is something I believe to be true, but something that I often think about is the butterfly effect. Like little things I do during the day could affect the total outcome of my day. I stopped for ice cream the other day on the drive home, and when we got back on the highway, there had been a massive accident where the back of a red Porsche was just incinerated. Maybe we would have been hit if we hadn't gone to Dairy Queen. The world is not ready for a bald Messi. Messi Pilato. Burger King hash browns are just tater tots. 1 in every 3 of people is not capable of critical thinking. And I'm not making some kind of point about politics or anything. I mean, those people are literally incapable of taking in information and synthesizing it with other information and coming to their own conclusions. They're basically robots programmed by whatever source is most convincing to them. McDonald's Coke hits different than any Coke I've ever had. Edit. Thanks for the awards, kind strangers. Let's get a Coke sometime. Dogs go to doggy heaven. Consider this, dogs go to regular heaven and wait for us to come up there. Yeah, but they have to wait in doggy heaven. It's kinda like doggy daycare except more fun and it lasts longer. I'm really lucky, but like in a subtle way, like if there's a 95% chance I'll get hurt doing something stupid, I'll come out unscathed. Sometimes I think there's a guardian angel watching over me, making sure I don't kill myself by being an idiot. That Andy Dufresne was guilty in the Shawshank Redemption. It's never actually proven that he didn't kill his wife and her lover. We just have his word and a story made up by an inmate that wanted to be liked by Andy and his friends. Also, what are the chances that his wife and lover were murdered the same night that Andy was going to kill them himself before he changed his mind? Life exists outside of Earth. I can't imagine a universe where we are the only life. It would defy all odds that we're the only living thing in an endless space of planets. Each star in the sky has the potential for life, and there are so many more we can't see. There is some Godzilla at the bottom of our oceans. Deep-sea gigantism will not fail me. That 1 to 2 generations down the line, our use of technology will lead to extreme mental health issues. My brain feels deep-fried from time to time, and I haven't seriously started using a smartphone before I was already an adult. Trump never intended to actually win. Deja vu comes from previous dreams. That the funeral home by my house is run by some sort of criminal organization. I always see the same gangster-looking guys hanging out in front of it, smoking cigars and drinking beers. Does this funeral home have its own crematorium by any chance? Ozark has taught me that it can be a really convenient way to get rid of bodies. My phone is listening to me. It's simply not a coincidence anymore how my targeted ads change directly related to and after a conversation. People say we are just more predictable than we think, but I mentioned something I haven't even thought about for years, and there it is on Instagram. The person reading this is sitting or laying down. That the near-complete absence of financial literacy education in American public schools is 100% on purpose. Cats can talk, but they're hiding it from us. Not my cat. He talks to me all the time. I just can't understand him. Thanks for watching. Share your stories in the comments.